Now, a pensioner has painted a Native American totem pole he owns depicting a black figure white after a neighbour complained that having the wooden figure sitting in his garden was racist. Brian Connery, who's an enthusiast of Native American culture, installed the totem pole in his front garden, which shows a black figure grinning in a blue suit. We'll show you soon. But that was until some absolute wet wipe of an individual decided to report the pensioner to the literal police as a potential hate crime, forcing him to paint the figure's face white. Instead, now luckily, because I do believe this country hasn't entirely lost its marbles, the police ruled he had not committed a hate crime and didn't take any further action. But not before they reportedly tried to record it as a, quote, a possible public offence order due to the visual representation which caused alarm and distress to members of the public. Alarmed and distress by a wooden figure on a totem pole in a pensioner's garden. I'll tell you what's likely to cause alarm and distress to members of the public. When police time and resources are dedicated to thin-skinned crybabies rather than, catching actual criminals. Not like there's stabbings and murders and robberies and rapes going on or anything. Now, Mr. Connery said this about the incident. The complaint was made that it was racist. I repainted it white and that's it. The police were happy with it. Everyone was happy with it. But is that it? Because it never really is it when you capitulate to these people. People who want to spend their limited time on this godforsaken earth taking offence at innocuous, often inanimate objects. You give them an inch and they will take a mile. So, how do you deal with people like this? Well, my message is this. If somebody accuses you of hate, be it racism, homophobia, transphobia, pick your poison, and you know deep down, and indeed everyone else around you knows deep down, that they're being completely unfair, unreasonable, ridiculous, don't just take their word for it. Don't just immediately capitulate. Ask them politely to explain what exactly is racist or transphobic or whatever happens to be. Let them have their piece. And if, after that, you genuinely see where they're coming from, then fine. Admit the error in judgment and move on with your life. But if all common sense to you dictates that you have done nothing wrong, that they're being ridiculous, stand your ground. Because I don't want to live in a world where common sense is not used to filter out the right and the ridiculous. The pooled judgment, reason and common sense of the general public is good enough for juries who have people's lives in their hands, quite literally in places like America where the death penalty exists. It surely must be good enough for them to dictate when people are also being morons. The saying goes, common sense ain't so common, but I disagree. I think common sense is common in Britain, and I think we shouldn't be afraid to deploy it at full force against oversensitive softies.